Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I am excited to be back at you again today with another makeup transformation video. In today's video I have the beautiful Auntie K with me. I was doing her makeup, so we decided to record it and share with you guys. So this will essentially be me showing you how I do makeup on my clients, but more specifically on mature skin. His skin is beautiful already. Okay, so I basically like to enhance one's natural beauty. I don't do anything over the top. So without further ado, let's just get straight in. Some makeup wipes just to cleanse and clarify the skin, get rid of any excess oils or dirt that might be sitting on the surface of the skin. At this point she has nothing on her face, but for me this is a very essential step before I start anything at all. Now, as you can see, Auntie K is fearless. She ain't afraid of the slay. So I am going to slay her today, but I will make it age appropriate and very practical, because this is what I will do in real life. So I'm just going over that with the Pixi Glow Tonic. And this is my toner. And I really, really love this Pixi toner. It just gives the skin a glow and it cleanses, and it's just beautiful. So I like to dry that down completely. I left my hand fan at home today, so I was just using my palette there to dry down her face. And then we're going to go on to the brows, and I'm just priming or mattifying her brows, if you will. And I'm using the Becca matte primer to do this. Some people use powder. You can use whatever you have that helps to mattify your skin. Some people use Make of Magnesia. There's really no rules. As long as you get the results you want, whatever works for you works as well. So I do this to just soak up the excess oils around the brow area to ensure that the brows last all day. So you're reaching for my Benefit number 5 Titanium Eyebrow Pencil. What I'm using to go in to fill in Auntie K's brows, and I'm just alternating between that and my Mabrook eye pencil. I like to use both pencils together. They work really great. They help me achieve a real life feather like look to the eyebrows. So yeah, I assume most of us know how to fill in the brows, so I didn't really like slow down this part. I just really sped it up. So yeah, I'm just following the natural shape of her brows. I didn't alter her brows. I didn't go over the top. Kept it natural. Okay. So now I'm going to go in and define the brows, and I'm using my LA Girl Pro Conceal Concealers, 2 shades. So I'm using the really light one around the edge of the brow to help me highlight and lift that part up. And I'm using a more skin tone like color for the tail and the front of the brow, because it just makes it look a lot more natural when you just use like, of course that's what you're going for. So once I've done that, I leave the concealers to dry down for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then I'm going to go on to start on the face, and I'm just applying my Embryolisse moisturizer there. I like to leave the concealer to dry down for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, because I find you get fuller coverage that way as opposed to blending it out straight away while it's still wet and creamy. So yes, I'm going to now go in and blend that concealer out, and as you can see, I'm not spreading it out. I'm literally just tapping my brush in place exactly where I placed the concealer, because that is where I need the coverage. It's no use spreading it all out because I don't need that concealer everywhere else. So now to start off the eyes, I'm going to reach for my Morphe eyelid primer and the P. Louise base. As I explained in my previous video, I like to prime first before I base and then apply my eyeshadow. So I'm using the Zuri Cosmetics eyeshadow palette here to start off the eyes. Be sure to blend out your base smooth and perfect before you go on with your eyeshadow, because if you apply shadow on a creased face, you are essentially going to get a really creased eye look, and it ain't gonna look sexy at all. So I'm applying my first color there, which is the crease color, Sheer from the palette, and I am packing it on before I go in to blend. I'm using the same brush. Yeah, so I'm just going in and like really just blowing out the crease slash transitional color there. So now I'm going to go into my ZK Cosmetic powder palette, and I'm just taking a combination of like light colors there, and I'm using that to set the concealer that I used to shape her brows with. Remember, it's a creamy product, and for it to stay in place you need to set it with powder, and that's essentially what I'm doing there. Some people like to use eyeshadow. You can do that as well, whatever works for you. For me, I have been loving the powder set, and that's what I did there. So I'm going in now, and I'm just really blending out the crease there with a mixture of those 2 shades, because I wanted a gradation of color, so I wanted it to go like a orangey yellow straight into the brown. So to deepen the crease now, I'm reaching in for a deeper brown from the palette, and I'm just working that through the outer corner straight through the crease of her eyes. And as you can see, I'm doing them in big circular motions. So yes, and then I'm going to reach into the black color there called Panther, and again I'm going to deposit in the outer corner, and then using a slightly fluffier brush I'm going to blend that through the outer corner. So once I'm done blending all of that, I'm going to reach into my Pixie palette. I've forgotten what the exact name for this palette is, but it's the palette full of shimmer shadows, and I'm reaching for that first rich bronzy orangey brown color, and I'm just packing that on with a really stiff flat eyeshadow brush. This is a synthetic brush, and I find that this kind of brushes work particularly well with applying shimmery shadows. The color just comes through, and yeah, there's little to no fallout when I use brushes like this for shimmery shades. So yes, and then I go with the gold in the inner corner, and I just blend both together because I want both colors to look married in and beautiful. And then I go back in and I smoke out the outer corner of her eyes, and just really at this point I'm just blending all the colors together. So reaching for my Kat Von D lash liner, I'm going to apply that all the way through Auntie K's lash line. I personally don't like to do wing liner on more mature skin for a number of reasons. I find that it's not very flattering. It's not flattering at all, period, point blank. You get more of an effect if you just line the lash line and smoke it out, I find personally, as opposed to trying to draw a wing liner on mature skin. So I just did that there, applied the liner, and now I'm going back onto her skin. I do apologize, I'm a little bit all over the place with um applying makeup, but this is how I work in real life. So I'm just applying the MAC strobe cream there before I go on with her foundation, and I'm doing that because I want the glow that it provides. And for her foundation I'm using Juvia's Place Lagos, I believe. Used in the description box below. I absolutely love this Juvia's Place foundation. They're amazing for all skin types, all age ranges. It's a beautiful velvety matte finish, full coverage, super creamy, super blendable foundation. It's what every penny, and I'm literally kitting out my whole kit with all of the shades that this foundation comes with because it's that beautiful. And I'm just buffing and blending it all out with like a domed foundation brush, and I'm pressing the foundation in. I'm not swirling, I'm not wiping, I'm not swiping. Pressing in gives you ultimate coverage. And then I go over with my damp beauty blender, and I like to do this because I find that the blender just helps me absorb any excess foundation that I may have applied onto the client's face, and it just helps to enhance and give that full airbrush finish that we're looking for. And as you can see, Auntie K's skin right now, she's glowing. Even see, she's even skin. It's good. It's okay. So now I'm going to conceal, and I go back to the LA Girl Pro Concealer, the same one that I used to highlight the brows. Very little with this concealer. I find that caking on concealer on mature skin is really not the way. It just really settles into the creases, into the lines, into the wrinkles, and it's just not cute. A little goes a long way. You want them to look naturally beautiful, so I always use the barest minimum, and I am blending out with my damp beauty blender sponge, again because I want an airbrush seamless and natural looking finish. Some people work with a brush. Whatever works for you works, to be honest, sis. As long as you get the finish that you're looking for, it really doesn't matter. But I'm just showing you how I work. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and blend all my sponge, and I do the eyebrow when I'm blending out the concealer underneath the eyes. So going back into my ZK powder palette, I'm just going to take a combination of colors to suit Auntie's skin tone, and I'm going to set the concealer under her eyes. I like to use skin tone colored powder first to fully press and set the concealer, and then if I feel the need to bake afterwards I will bake on top of that using either a translucent powder or a lighter colored powder, depending on what I'm feeling like doing on that day. So I'm just going in, and as you can see, I'm just really pressing that powder in. I'm really setting the concealer because I don't want it to crease, I don't want it to move, and I want her to have coverage throughout the day. So everywhere I apply the concealer is everywhere I'm going over with the powder. And I like to go a little at a time. I don't go crazy with it. I don't go ham with it, especially not for mature skin. So to make Auntie today, I decided to use my Zaron Cosmetics loose setting powder. I think that one is in Z10. It's a colored powder, and I'm just going to bake her in the places that I want to bake using that powder. And I bake because I want the extra oomph, the extra glow. Auntie wanted to be extra glam on this day, so I wanted to give her that. So to contour her face, I didn't do any cream contouring. I'm just using my Ben Nye powder palette here and the darkest shade in the palette, and I am just pressing in that powder as my contour for Auntie. So along the hairline, along the cheekbones there where you typically would contour. And I didn't do her jawline because she already has a very defined face, and there was no use for that emphasizing that, if you know what I mean. So only apply where necessary. And I'm running the Smyrix Evolution 06 powder. Bronze is really warm, it's very rich, and it's really smooth. It's so soft, it just melts into the skin, and it's matte. It has no shimmer whatsoever. So I just bronze her face, and then I go in to contour her nose as well. So yeah, I love her, and I think she was liking what she was saying. So to finish off her eyes, I'm going to go into the brown shade in the Juvia's Place palette, and I will use that to smoke out the black Kat Von D liner. I find that personally I prefer to mute down the color on mature skin, because black can be a little bit like harsh, it can be a little bit out there. So I just like to use a brown to soften it up and smoke out the liner, so it just brings it down a couple of notches. So here I'm just applying mascara, getting her ready for lashes, then I go back to the face. And I apologize, but I'm all over the place. So taking a combination of my Juvia's Place Sahara blush palette, by the way. I'm just using that to blush Auntie's cheeks, and like I mentioned in the previous video, I like to have my clients smile when I apply blush. Everybody does it differently, but do you, boo boo. So now I'm going to dust off the baking powder, and I like to do that, which is what I just did. Then I'm going to go in and line her waterline, and then after that I go back into the Juvia's Place palette and just smoke out ever so lightly her bottom, a lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with mascara. I lost my words there. And then I'm going to go in with mascara for her lower bottom lash. A bit of Carmex over, and just get the lips all like juicy before we go into apply the lipstick. And then for her lashes, I used a pair of wispy lashes that I picked up in the beauty supply store. It's from a brand called Remy. I like how lashes a little bit more. So going in with my Inglot makeup fixer spray, this is the first spray I like to use, and as you can see, Auntie's already looking radiant. She's already looking like a snack. Okay, so yeah, so onto the lips, chest. I'm gonna use that to line Auntie's lips before I go in with the lipstick. Now for her lipsticks, I used a bunch of Huda Beauty matte lipsticks, the names for which I genuinely cannot for the life of me remember. I only remember the name for one of them, but again, I will leave everything that I have used listed down below in the description box for those who might be interested. Now, I applied this originally because I wanted to go for like a natural looking sort of a little bit more on the pink side, so I ended up swapping the lipstick, and then just using the Huda Beauty matte lipstick in the shade Spring Break. Now that one I remember, but I can't remember the names for anything else. So yeah, and then I just finished her face with my Fix Plus spray, and that basically kind of just like completed the look. Oh no, it didn't complete the look. We had to glow up. So we used the MAC Gold Deposit first, because I just like how the finish of it is on anti skin tone. the usual areas: cheekbones, the nose, forehead. And then on top of that, because I wanted a little bit extra, I went in with the Crayon Case Honor Roll highlighter just to amp up the highlighter a little bit. And that was, guys, the speed of the video with me. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please hit me up in the comment section below. I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be waiting. I want to talk to you guys, and I hope that you want to talk to me too. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. Get yourselves. I love you all, guys, and yeah, can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.